Okay, so hey everyone, welcome back to MS Inspire, and today is the day 4 for Industry Inspire series. So, without any further ado, I'll just give this to Omkar. So, hey Omkar.
Hello, Sundareshwar. Thank you for passing it over to me. And I want to welcome you all to the day 4 of Industry Inspire series. And today we have here with us Prakash sir. And talking about Prakash Panchal sir, he is associated with Microsoft for over 11 years right now. So he has 10 plus years of experience. He is a technology specialist for modern workplace. And it's a pleasure to have him over with all of you might not be knowing that he also has overall 10 years of experience in unified communications and collaboration focused on Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365. So without wasting further time, I just want to pass it on to Prakash sir. Hello Prakash sir.
Thank you, Omkar, for a quick introduction. I'm really glad to be on this platform addressing a lot of you who have joined on the call. Thank you so much for joining in. So, in this particular session, we're going to primarily be talking about productivity. Right? And before even I start there, I'll just quickly brief you about what I do and what are some of my work areas where I'm involved in. So I'm Prakash Panchal, and I'm the technical specialist helping customers across globe and especially in India to evangelize and digitize a lot of work that they do inside the organization in a way which could increase their efficiency, increase the productivity, so that the outcome is much more efficient and faster. And in this session today, I'm going to primarily talk about what are some of those aspects that you can bring in your day-to-day life when we talk about productivity. When I say day-to-day life, it could be you having a chat with your family across different locations. You wanting to build certain documents or collaborate or co-author with certain people in different places, given that in this situation of pandemic where we're all working from home, how do we ensure that we use technology and increase the productivity? So with that, I'm gonna quickly share on my slides, and if Omkar, you can confirm you're able to see my slides.
Yes sir, we can see your slide.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. So um, and while we go through this quick demonstration of some of the tools that I use in my work as well as personal life to increase productivity, I'm going to share those experiences with you as well, which is going to bring some change in your day-to-day work. And what you're seeing at the moment, the first ever slide, um, that slide is not built from scratch, and I'll show you how quickly within seconds you can build such a beautiful slide when you're presenting. Right, so we spoke about, gave you my introduction, um, and I am waiting for your introduction. With that, I would want to know where all are you located from? Where all are you joining in from? Are you from different location? So feel free to post in your polls. There's a poll which I have created, which is going to help me understand who all are participating in this session and from what location. And you want to quickly take down the polling information, pollev.com /Prakash Punch 579. I'll give you like a 30-second to put in your poll, with which I'll have some visibility around where are people signing in from and logging into this session. 30 seconds start now. Right. All right, good to know that people have joined in overseas as well. few from India, some part of uh, Europe. Great to see you all and welcome you all for this session. Um, the other poll which I also have for you is mainly around getting to know what do you know about productivity. When we talk about productivity, there are different ways and different means what productivity means to different people. Right? The simple fundamental of uh, being productive is to ensure that you do things in a faster way, and while you do things in a faster way, it is also efficient. It is helping you ensure that there are minimum errors, and to ensure that productivity and to ensure that you are efficient enough in your work that you're trying to perfect in, you have the right tools to do those works. So some of the tools which I have laid down here, I'm going to quickly run you through some of the tips and tricks in these tools. While there are many controls available in these tools, but I'm going to take you through some of the quick ones which you can introduce in your day-to-day life as well. So talking about Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneDrive, Teams, I'm sure you have heard of all of these names in the past, and I'm sure that you have used different versions of these tools as well. But as we are evolving and as the technology is evolving today, you will see more and more controls being bought inside these tools. So there are more than 1,500 controls in a single app. So if you talk about Word, Excel, PowerPoint, inside the Office package itself, every of those apps have hundreds and thousands of controls, which we don't use it every day. But there are certain tools that we use it every day, and every person has a different way of doing it. But then there is an efficient way of doing that as well. And we're going to talk about those ways as well. So first, let me take you to something called Word, which is not going to be different. But let's see, have we tried those abilities in the Word app? So if you look at Word, it brings different variety of things that you can do inside of the Word app. You could write from typing words to providing commands. You could do a hell lot of things inside of the Word app. However, what you can also do is, while you don't want to type some things out, there are certain controls which will help you type out by yourself. For example, there is a control called dictate. So if I put that dictate on, you will see that the text is now being written while I'm speaking. So this helps me ensure that I'm not spending time in typing. Rather, I'm spending more and more time to focus on what content I'm saying than typing. So it helps me ensure that I'm doing things faster. But in the same time, it is also helping me write bigger paragraphs, correct some things as well. Right? So if you let me stop this. All right. So as you would see here, all that I spoke right from here, it's all being captured in this particular paragraph. So that is one control that you would use. The other thing which you would also use during your day-to-day activity is going to be the mailing list. I'm not sure if you have used that in the past, but when during the occasions of sending out invites, we often use WhatsApps. We use different social platforms to invite people over the occasion. But there is also an efficient and a formal way, and also an informal way inside of Word that you can use. That's your mailing list, right? Which helps you ensure that you send thousands of emails to specific people and only marking those specific people in that email. There are also certain controls, the ink to text controls, the inking experience that I'm not sure if you have seen in the past, but I'll take you through that. For example, I want to ensure that I don't want to type out more because I want to draw certain diagrams, and I want to ensure that this diagram is pretty straightforward. It looks like a square, but it doesn't look like a perfect square. I want to make it a perfect square, so I will go ahead and use the ink to shape option that I have inside of Word. What it would do is it's going to change my square to a square looking square. Right, let me put that again here, and let me put the control and say ink to shape. And you would see as and when I start typing anything here, you will all see the controls coming in automatically. So in the background, it is using AI to ensure the controls or the diagrams which I'm drawing, they are converted automatically to shape, right? Likewise, there are many other controls which you would see in the demo. So that's pretty much it with the Word app of it. I'm gonna take you to the next app, which is Excel, which I'm sure a lot of us have used in the past. And there are certain specific controls which I would want to point your attention at. When you have a lot of data in Excel, right? I'm sure everybody has done calculations on the incoming versus the outgoing of the salaries, of the incomes, also the assets that you might have. You keep track of things inside of Excel. And sometimes that Excel becomes a little groggy and there's a lot of information inside Excel. How do you ensure that you have a better view, a better information view around what data goes in and out from a transactions perspective? So for example, the expense tracking, if you're using Excel for that, or if there is, if you are into stockbroking and you want to ensure that a lot of data comes in and you don't have appropriate analysis. How do you ensure that you have those analysis? So for example, this is a blank Excel. I'm going to populate some information with some sample data, and what you see here is the sample data in here, which has a column of year, category, product, sales, and rating. So based on the category and the product, the amount of sales that we have done, we have got certain amount of rating for that particular category of product. There are about how many? About 76 counts, 76 numbers. But I cannot just looking at it, I cannot just make out what the trend is. However, what I would do is I would go to a function called ideas. What it does, it analyzes that data for me and gives me certain amount of input. For an example, it gives me a graph. Right? On the right hand side, if you see, it gives me a graph of sum of sales from 2015 to 2017, and I can see the sale has been increasing. I can also see that the category of accessories is noticeably higher in the sales cycle, because rather than the actual clothing or the main garments which I've been selling, the accessories are sold faster, the sale is happening more there. That's not it. You also get further insights where it gives you a correlationship between different products. For example, if you look at the category of components and the categories of wheels and chains have noticeably higher sales in here, which I would have never got inside of Excel just looking at it. And remember, this is only 76 cells. There can be more. There can be like 7,000 as well, which would again analyze that data for you and give it to you right in here, help you put a pivot chart, help you put any other algorithm which you would want to right from here. And best part, it helps you answer questions as well. The top 3 categories by average. It helps you get that information as well from the ideas itself. You don't have to wonder looking at that data. That is pretty cool feature which I often use, and I've seen my family use that as well a lot. And apart from that, you will also see that a lot of formulas which we have added, a better way of converting your data into specific formula. For example, there's a category for financial formulas itself. You want to calculate compound interest, you want to calculate specific compound interest for a physical duration or a fiscal duration. You can do all of that right from the formula itself. You don't have to create those formulas on yourself. Um, Let me close this. Gonna take you to a presentation. Let me see if I can open my presentation. All right, so let me open up a new one. In PowerPoint, the ideas that we saw, right? These ideas really come to life in PowerPoint. The intention of building PowerPoint was to ensure that you tell a story in a much pictorial way, in a much efficient way. You don't want a lot of text on the PowerPoint. You want to ensure you grab attention from the attendee. So all of that functionality, you want to ensure it is part of
I think Prakash lagged out, so we'll be back in a bit, guys. Let us see if he comes back.
Sundar, there has been a problem.
I think Prakash's internet has gone
Sundar,
off.
there has been a problem. Uh, okay, okay, wait. Let Prakash sir connect again. Like I think that it's a network problem. So
So we'll just
yeah,
come.
yeah. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. He'll be joining soon.
Was I talking on mute? What part were you able to hear me?
Uh, it just went off when you're just going to like erase the presentation and start it again.
Okay, okay, great. Let me break that out. Let me know once you see my.
I think he again went off. Okay, guys, I think again he went out, so let us wait for some more time again. Okay, now we are back. Okay, I'll just give it to Professor again. Now we can continue, sir.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Apologies for the small glitch. Yeah, so the next thing I wanted to show you was about PowerPoint, how you can bring your PowerPoint slides to life. For example, the one which I made it using this capability. So if you look at PowerPoint, I just say, let's say maybe C bank. Um, and I just say design ideas. So what it does again, it looks at the text, gives me certain slides on the right, and gives me certain ideas how I want to define a bank. And usually when you look at bank, you want to see numbers, you want to see certain charts, certain percentages. So if you see on the right, it appropriately gives you those informations there. And uh, the other thing about this design ideas is also where you want to ensure that, for example, if I have to say time, product launch time, let me say that. When I say 2015 marketing event, 2017 product finalized, 2018 product launched. Usually when you use presentations, you just put in raw text. You don't want to spend a lot of time designing it because the designing would be done by the PowerPoint itself here. And I say 2019, I say review sales, Q1, and I say design idea. So what it does is it looks at those timelines and gives me a timeline chart, just to make me understand, look and feel how was I doing in 2016. It understands that these are certain milestones and certain numbers. It helps you get that information and process that information and give you the way you would want. Now, the best part about PowerPoint now, which I also see, which is very useful, is you want to ensure that the presentations that you do, they are pitch perfect. Usually when you have to give a presentation to an executive, to someone more valuable, you want to ensure you don't want to get negative responses on that. So you would do a lot of practice on your own to ensure that you're not reading what's there in the slide. You are talking more and more on the product that you're trying to pitch to a customer, or the conversation that you're having with the customer, the story that you're telling the customer. So the PowerPoint in the app itself, it has something called Presentation Coach, which helps you master your presentation in your mock presentations that you do, the practices that you do, and gives you a scoring saying that the presentation which you gave, you have a rating of, let's say, 50% or 60% or 54%, and you have to improve on these areas. For example, I can show you a screenshot how it would look. So if you look at the presentation score results, you will see something like this, which will say, I spent about 1 minute of time. There were 7 slides which I rehearsed, and in one particular slide, I spoke about certain things which were in the slide. So it gave me information saying that you're trying to repeat the things which are in the slide. The pace at which I am presenting is also pretty good. I'm saying 136 words per minute. So it gives you those analytical data, which will help you master your presentation pitch while you do the presentation. One of the things which I'm sure you might have heard of, when you do a lot of discussions with your customers, your teachers, your students, whichever role you are at, you usually, when there is a complex methodology, you always use a pen and a paper to draw a simple flowchart or a diagram to help understand things. And inside of Windows, you have something called Whiteboard, which has the inking capabilities. which is very powerful in terms of how we want to take the printing. Usually, when you do a pen and a paper, you would, write down or draw certain diagrams and say, this is a triangle. For example, INGLE. I'll say this is a square. Okay, this is rhombus. For example, this is a square. And I'm sure my handwriting is not so good. So what it also does is it will convert my handwriting into a simple text and see how beautifully it will go and convert it to you. So you have to do a lot of task of ensuring that your handwriting is, is not affecting the way you want to present it in your whiteboard. One other thing which will help you using whiteboard is some of the template it has. If you look at some of the templates inside of whiteboard, you will see that based on what type of work you want to do, it will give you certain templates. Let me open up whiteboard. And inside of whiteboard, you would have these templates. Let me say, I want a template which is known for, especially for brainstorming. So what does this template mean? A template means I want to ensure that I'm doing brainstorm while I'm talking to my friends, right? Going back to my presentation, I also wanted to talk to you about ensuring how do we make sure that the files and the documents which you have, they are all at a specific location which can be accessed from anywhere. For example, if you see documents that I have something called OneDrive, which is my OneDrive for business, which I use it for Microsoft, and there's OneDrive for personal, which is for me, especially for me. So how do I segregate this? I ensure that all my personal data, for example, this is my personal data, I'll just go ahead and ensure I save it, and I save it in a specific location. Let's say I will save this. Okay, this is my business data. I'm going to save it inside OneDrive. And what you would see is every edits that I make to that file. Let me open that file again. And yes, ABC Bank. Every edits which will I make to this file, it is going to create a version, so that at any point of time I want to retrieve to an older version of the file, I can always do it. For example, if there are multiple people who are trying to edit the file, you will see on the right, you will see multiple people there, and you can go back to any specific location and restore that. The last piece I wanted to talk to you about was Teams, in which Teams, yeah. The last piece I want to talk to you about was Teams. How Teams help you do chats within your family, outside of the family, with your friend circle. It ensures whatever comments that you make are persistent. All the data which you actually do it in Teams, all the chat that you do in Teams is all persistent. So you go back like years back, and you'll be able to see all of that chat in a single screen. For example, in this particular chat, it's just doing a quick chat here, and as and when the chat will fill up, you'll see a lot of chats been coming up, and I can go back, I can highlight it, I can mark it, I can save it so that I can use it in the future. There's a version of Teams Personal which is also come up, and I encourage you to use the Teams for Personal, which helps you create a group of family where there are multiple family members part of a specific group inside Teams, and all the all the discussions that you will want to do when you're distributed, when you're traveling, when you're not in the same city. Your let's say your sister is working on specific looking at creating an insurance for the entire family, and she wants to share certain documents so that we ensure there is only one place for all the documents to be. The document can remain inside of Teams. If likewise, if there are if I am using a lot of apps on the internet, like social as well as business, and I want to ensure that all the passwords remain securely. I don't have to invest in a password manager. Um, uh, Teams natively is going to give me an ability to uh, create those passwords and save those passwords inside of Teams. Likewise, there are many other capabilities, but given the time that we have today, I'm gonna pause here, give the stage back to Omkar and Sundar. And if you have any questions, I'm still with Omkar. Back to you.
Sure. Thank you, sir. And it was a great session. It was interactive. It was informative. You talked a lot about Microsoft 365 and how it can be used productively. So it was great. And like now, we'll have a 5 minutes break, and after that, we'll have a Q&A session. And everyone who have any doubts, do you want to ask something about Microsoft 365, MS Teams, or anything about what Prakash sir talked about, you can comment in the live chat and let us know what you want to know more about. So without wasting further time, we just take a 5 minutes break and we'll come back. Until then, Sundar, I hope that you'll play some good music so that the audience will be enjoying those 5 minutes break, and after that we'll be back with the Q&A session.
Yes, so stay tuned. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Bye bye. Hey everyone, welcome back. We are back from the break and we'll start the Industry Inspired Series Day 4 again. So I'll just give this to again to Omkar. So, hey Omkar, you can take this.
Yeah, Sundar. So we'll start with the Q&A session right now. So we have one question popping up here. So Sayanta is asking, will Microsoft India host any in-office open to all event in future?
Sorry, I missed the last part. Will Microsoft India? What was the question?
Host any? Will Microsoft India host any in-office open to all event in future?
Future. I'm sure it would. But when would that future come? We don't know because given that we are all in lockdown, most of the things are happening remotely. I would not say most, but 100% of the things in Microsoft India are happening remotely. There's no people working from office. We are all connecting to our customers, partners, all over remote sessions only.
Okay, that's great. Hope that Sayanta's question is answered. So next question is by Shitish. He's asking, sir, what is Microsoft 365 collaboration?
All right, great. I'm glad that you asked. So when you look at Microsoft 365, ideally for any organization to do a function or to run a business, they would require an IT. When I say an IT, is basically the infrastructure where they can send receive emails. They have a specific place where all the data gets stored, unified search. They have a collaboration platform where, like Teams, where they can chat, they can operate, they can work with their extended vendor. Their collaboration and to ensure digitization. There's a bundle that we have created, which is called Microsoft 365, which consists of Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams. There's a video streaming portal which is called Stream. So there are a lot of apps inside of Microsoft 365, specifically focused to ensure any company who opts for it is all supported from IT. Yeah, so that's what Microsoft 365 is.
Wow, that's interesting. And I hope that Shitish, your question is answered now. So the next question coming up is from Neeraj, and he's asking you, how was your experience in this industry?
Yeah, an interesting question. So I'll take you back to about more than a decade ago. So the industry I'm working in the IT industry from past almost 15 plus years, and the time when you start your career, it is usually when you would decide whether you want to start your career in IT, in architecture, in pharmaceuticals, and banking, wherever your interests are in. Um, I was at the time when I grew up, computers were a boom, and there was a lot of interest around how computers can do simple math in fraction of seconds, how a lot of things can happen quickly. So that interested me, and I started off my career with a smaller role then, where I used to be helping a company build certain apps, certain databases, so that they can use those databases for data entry. So my career goes back 15 years, where I used to build databases and apps, and moving them, worked on networking, work on messaging, working on unified communications, and then now primarily looking at collaboration and productivity inside of Microsoft. So if you look at the entire journey, it has been very dynamic and very colorful, with vast variety of experiences working with multiple people across teams. So it has been fabulous. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, that's
so
great. Sundar, what do you?
yeah. Okay, so Rohit is asking that he is a BCA final year student and he wants to join Microsoft. So he wants to know like which area he needs to focus if he wants to prepare to joining Microsoft.
Yeah, the first thing I think you should focus on is um, it's good that you want to join Microsoft. Absolutely great. But the first thing I would essentially ask any of my friends, colleagues, family would be to see if you are passionate about technology. If you are passionate about technology, it is automatically going to help you learn, drive your emotions, drive your learnings towards that. So you talk about any technology which is available from Microsoft or from any other company like Google, Oracle, Salesforce, whichever you name it. You pick up any smaller bit portion of it, uh, start working on it, start reading about it, start learning about it, and when you think you have mastered it, that's the time you go ahead and apply for it.
I hope that answers Rohit's question. Sayant is asking that does Microsoft India has any plans to host any online workshops for learners? I think for beginners.
Yeah, there are quite some available already, and you should look out for Microsoft events which are available in public. I can share more information with the team and in the chat where you can find information about what courses are available for free over the internet with self-paced learning, where you don't have to, where there's no live person giving your training, but those are recorded videos, and those are awesome videos for you to learn any technology. um, as well, there are monthly and quarterly sessions and webinars. We do it for customers, for partners, and even for the external world. And we have posted quite some of those videos on YouTube as well. So those resources are absolutely available.
Okay, I hope that helps him. Okay, a question from my side. I recently got on the Teams has actually released a free version of itself. So can you throw some light on the Teams free version?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about Teams, like I said, the collaboration platform. I would not just say a communication or audio video platform, but it's a real collaboration platform which helps you do a lot of tasks which you do in a day-to-day life. For example, I'm personally working on building a smaller solution inside Teams. When I say building a smaller solution, I know that every month I have to pay certain bills, electricity bills, your investments, your loans. You have to do a lot of those. So you have to remember the HDFC net banking website, the Citibank net, and the numerous banks websites, the numerous UPI applications that we have, and all of those details from those consumers whom I'm taking service from. They send me bills, they send me alerts. So what I'm doing is for my personal use, in Teams Personal, where I have my entire family part of that group. There are like five of us in that group. Um, all my subscription details from Amazon, Apple, my investment, my insurance, they are payment which I have to do every month, every year, every quarter, based on the payment cycle. All of that resides inside Teams. When I say reside, is not only documents, but their usernames, their passwords, all of that reside there, and it is protected because I know nobody else than my family will be able to access it at any point of time. Even if my family's phone, laptop, desktop is lost, is stolen, I still don't have to worry about, because my data is lying inside of the Microsoft cloud, which is protected, with multi-factor authentication. So only when a specific person accesses that file is being asked to provide an OTP or provide a biometric, only then I can go and access. So your team's free version it gives you a lot of abilities and capabilities other than doing chats, calling, other than ensuring that when you're going for a holiday, you want to prepare a holiday with your friends, and there's a group of 20 people, you want to get polls from them, which location do we want to go in, if you go to this particular location, which areas do you want to spend time, which hotels you want to stay in. So all of that information during this time where you cannot meet together and plan, you can use Teams for that, right? So the Teams free version is the collaboration, chat, audio, video, storage abilities which it provides, and gives you a 10 GB of storage on the cloud, with additional storage if needed, which you can also subscribe for. Yeah, so that's what the Team's personal version is.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so another question. Vivek is asking that you have stated that Microsoft 365 will be a great asset. So can it be beneficial for a startup's data management regarding product and services and data entries about a particular product?
So Microsoft 365, like I said, it's like a bundle, and bundle gives you a lot of different abilities and capabilities. For a startup, definitely yes, it does make sense for a startup, because they would not want to invest a lot of their money in setting up an IT, where Microsoft 365 is a SaaS platform. And I say SaaS is software as a service given by Microsoft. You can subscribe for it. You have like 3 people in your company, or 300 or 30,000 or 3 lakh, whichever be the number. You can opt for that, and all of these apps, your emails, your storage, your collaboration using Teams, and also if you want to create certain custom applications for data entry, if you have a marketing team or a sales team who's fleet on street, who's on the street talking to customers, taking feedback, they can access all of that on the go from their phone as well. So yeah, it's a perfect solution for startups as well.
Okay, so Rohit has another question. Okay, so he is asking something regarding careers. So he's asking that should we focus specifically on machine learning or specifically on artificial intelligence?
Okay, yeah, I see a lot of folks having these questions around machine learning and artificial intelligence. So one thing is for sure, the AI and ML, they usually work hand to hand. They work in conjunction. So if you are going to learn or going to focus on machine learning, the machine learning is going to help artificial intelligence and to do its task, in all helping you learn artificial intelligence. So if you look at AI or ML, which one should I do? It could be any, because eventually at the end, when you start working on a project, you're going to end up doing both. So you'll have skills on both. So learning one and going full force with it, that's what it matters. You have to just take up either one of those and start working on it.
Okay, so Sayanta is asking that what are the challenges Microsoft may face in the cloud competition in future?
Okay, that's a really good question. And for any product, not only Microsoft, but you talk about any product company who is going to build a product, there's going to be always a competition, and those competitions sometimes influence the others. So if I have to talk about Microsoft and its competitors, and you might have heard a lot of news on the internet as well. We do a lot of work together with our competitors as well. So it is, if you look at competition is for a specific uh, specific pointed solution. It is not exactly between the company, because they're also doing a lot of work internally together. So I hope that answers the question.
That's great, Prakash sir. And one question from my side. I was just going throughout your LinkedIn profile, and I was just seeing you are working for Wipro, Capgemini, and like, what is the reason you are still associated with Microsoft for 10 plus years? So, what has Microsoft offered you for, like, how was your overall experience? I just wanted to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great question. So, like I said, technology interests me a lot, and there cannot be a better company than Microsoft, with whom I can be in touch with technology all the time, because you will see the technology would evolve every day. Every task that you do today in a certain way changes in a better manner tomorrow. So Microsoft has that ability to towards technology, the apps, the work, the products that they have, they they are so easy, and they think about those products from the heart, and they have a good place for people who are passionate about technology. And one of the driving factor for me to stick with Microsoft for over a decade is only technology. There is no other reason which I would want to call out. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And my last question, it's the last question for the Q&A, and it's asked again by Sayanta. He's like, do you think Azure services can be made more simpler in future so that every person can be associated with that particular service?
Yeah. So Azure, if you look at Azure, there are many, and I would say thousands of services under Azure. Azure is a platform where it provides you a lot of service natively by Microsoft, and also in collaboration with many other cloud providers as well. So when we talk about making it simpler, yes, it is evolving. Any product is always evolving, just to ensure that the feedbacks that we get from the field, from the customers, from the partners, we ensure that those feedbacks are always collated and implemented in any product that we develop. So yeah, in future you would see more and more development and better experiences coming up in all the products of Microsoft. Yes.
That's great. And the one more last question, which is connected to this previous question, was asked by the same person. He also asked, like, also Azure machine learning can be demonstrated in a more better way through hands-on labs. So he's asking about that, about Azure machine learning.
Yeah, so there is a course which I can point you to, in which you would see that in a shorter span of time how we can use Azure to learn. Okay, first to feed the system, and then the system learns himself to give you certain outputs for you to demonstrate. So I can put those links in the chat, which you can refer in the future.
Okay, so that's great. And with this, I would like to end the Q&A session. And I want to personally thank Prakash sir for coming up here and talking about your experience with Microsoft and inspiring our audience. So it is a pleasure to have you as our speaker for day 4. And what all things you have done for Microsoft, it is really inspiring. It's really motivating, and I hope that you do more in life, and all the very best for your future endeavor.
Thank you so much everyone, and thank you so much for joining this session. I hope I made some sense, and I hope you use some sort of technology in your life to enhance the way you start doing your work, and all the best for your futures.
Definitely, sir. And I want to make sure, I want to tell you all guys that I have like we have mentioned Prakash sir's LinkedIn link in the description box below. So do check it out. I'll also post it in the live chat. So do connect with him and ask him questions if you have any questions after this session. And so, Sundar or Dawood, do you want to say something about this session? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I think it was absolutely great. The very few minutes I joined on, here, it's been really great learning how exactly, we could use Microsoft Teams productively, especially this times. And I think behind the scene, I was having a conversation with Prakash about how, this session has actually been fun, and I'm thrilled that the people in the chats are also enjoying it, and those who would come and watch it after the session is finally over too. We hope that they take a lot from it, and thank you so much, Prakash, for doing this with us. It's really inspiring, and we love it.
That's great. That's
Perfect.
great. And if you guys are watching right now, please make sure to like the video, like this specific live stream if you have learned something new today, and do connect with us tomorrow as well. And I just want to give an update about tomorrow's event. And today we had Prakash sir. Tomorrow we have Linda ma'am here with us, and it's a pleasure to have her as well. And tomorrow's event is going to be the biggest event, biggest day. Like, we have Linda ma'am who is associated with Microsoft for 22 years, and she's the director of the Microsoft Garage program. And it's a pleasure to have her tomorrow. And please, I'm requesting you all to join tomorrow as well with the same motivation, with the desire to learn something new. So tomorrow we officially wrap up this Industry Inspire series, and I want to thank each and every one of you who is attending for these 4 days, who are learning something in this lockdown, in this tough situation. And with this, I would like to pass it on to Sundar or Dawood or maybe Prakash sir. We want to conclude with some last words.
Yeah, I'll go for it. I think be motivated and be inspired. All right.
Yes, that's the motto he also follow here. Learn, share, and inspire. So yes, so thanks for joining everyone. Thanks Prakash, thanks Omkar, thanks Dawood, thank you everyone in the chat for joining us, and we'll meet you soon for tomorrow's session with Linda also. So bye everyone, and make sure you like and subscribe to MS Inspire also for more sessions in the coming days. Okay.
Bye everyone.
So bye everyone.
Bye everyone. Take care.
Thank you.